Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another film review. And today's film review is Norman Wisdom, The Early Bird. So, what is The Early Bird about? Well, it's about two milk companies rivaling one another, and it's this beautiful comedy where essentially Norman Wisdom plays a young character known as Pipkin, and he is alongside a guy known as Mr Grimsdail. And him and Mr Grimsdail both work as their own kind of milk company. They're very old fashioned, they use horse and cart and essentially go and deliver people's milk. However, times are changing and that threatens their business, not only because the bigger companies are coming in to pretty much crush them, but also because they are now using pretty much like cars to get around. And throughout this story, Pipkin finds himself in a position in which he really struggles to fight back against his kind of rivals. And essentially throughout this whole story, he gets into a nick of trouble and he tries to like call them out on it. He goes to their house. They try to shoot him with a shotgun, which is absolutely hilarious when you watch, not because of him getting shot, but because of the fact that one, they miss and hit the window and it backfires in their face, but two, because you have this beautiful scene in which Norman Wisdom goes flying through the garden on a lawnmower. It just keeps going. Brrr. But also the interesting thing I like is this is one of those very practical old-fashioned films. And what's so strong about this film is this idea that it starts using things that some people may not necessarily take into consideration. One thing I think is relatable, however, in this film is the fact that Pipkin seems to fall down the stairs and do the one thing that I always seem to do, which is get like you're dressing down or something, get it caught on the stairs and just start tripping. The thing, though, that's strange and beautiful in this story, though, is that we see Nelly the horse go up the staircase and destroy half of the stairs. But the majority of this story, of course, is all about Pipkin and Mr Grimsdail making a statement. They're trying to say, look, you're not getting rid of us no time soon. However, the thing that begins to become an even bigger struggle uphill for the pair of them is when he goes to deliver the milk and an angry man with his wife decide to chuck their milk, and it just begins to down spiral from there. For the rest of the story, they pretty much try to fight back, and Mr Grimsdail even gets to the point where he starts to question whether the milk business should keep running. The other brilliant bit of story in this is the fact that Pipkin and Mr Grimsdail get high on an apple, which I think is just absolutely baffling. There's also this play on joke in which where Mr Grimsdail and the landlady are getting up to no good, and Pipkin's a little bit like their son, so they constantly get annoyed at him because he won't give them privacy. I mean, those are just some points of this film, and it's one of those films that I'm not being funny. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I just really think people should go and watch it for themselves. But what do I give The Early Bird out of 10? It's a solid story. Norman Wisdom absolutely blows you away with his performance in this film. And it really translates to the screen. And I'm not being funny, it's one of those films, one of those rare films from back in the day. I feel like modern audiences would really get this film, especially if you're a big fan of Chuckle Brothers. And for that reason, out of 10, I give it a 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next film review, which will be an Audrey Hepburn film. Until then, goodbye, you beautiful people.